Hey everybody, and welcome to the Smell Podcast. I'm your host, Katie Boateng. Today's minisode comes from listener Frederick, who is from Belgium, and here's his story. This is what Frederick writes. Hi Katie, I just found out about your podcast via the Facebook group Acquired Anosmia. I've only listened to the introduction, but I'll listen to the other episodes soon. I'm curious. Let me introduce myself. I'm Frederick from Belgium, Leuven, 39 years old, and I lost my sense of smell about 1 year ago, so I'll share my story with you. Maybe it's useful, maybe not. On September 3rd, 2017, I went on a bike trip with 3 of my friends. The plan was to do a 40-kilometer ride in our neighborhood, and for those of us who don't use the metric system, that's about 25 miles. Frederick continues. After about 20 kilometers, or 12 and a half miles, we arrived in a small village and we took a turn to drive back home. I noticed a small bump in the road, so I pulled my handlebars to make sure I wouldn't fall. Unfortunately, at that moment, my wheel broke because I was driving an old road bike, so I landed on my head, hard. I broke my nose, forehead, shoulder blade. I could share all the bad experiences from the hospital and surgery, but let's skip that. My surgeon told me I might have lost my smell because of the blow to my head. The nerve could have been damaged. It was only after a few days that I realized he was right. For him, it seemed like a small detail. For me, and others, like you with the same condition, it's life-changing. I wake up every day thinking about it, and it's almost every day the last thing I think about when I go to sleep. I have this project with my friend where we visit a new restaurant every few weeks in our city. I think we went to 60 restaurants up until now in about 4 years' time. I don't have any real hobbies, but I think this was one of my favorite activities in my spare time. Another hobby, maybe not so healthy, was to taste as many different beers as possible. I had this small competition with my cousin using the Untapped app. 740 beers is my final score. That's when it happened. Although I want to say I was perfectly sober when I crashed. I still go to restaurants and I still drink beers, but everything tastes awful now or doesn't taste at all. Besides that, I often also have a bad taste in my mouth. I can't even tell what it is for no particular reason, and it drives me crazy. I always try to look for the positive things in life, but this condition is still hard to ignore. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, in between. And it's of course more than that. The smell of rain, the sea, coffee. I adored coffee. Perfume, someone you love. Anyway, it's hard to explain everything in a few lines, but I guess you will understand a lot of the frustrations. Hoping for better times. Good luck with the podcast. Frederick, not anonymous. If you have a story that you'd like to share for the podcast, or if you'd be interested in being interviewed on the podcast, please email me at thesmellpodcast@gmail.com. You can also tweet me at thesmellpodcast. Listener stories can be about pretty much anything you'd like to share about living with a smell and taste disorder. I hope to hear from you soon, and until next time, have a great day.